When we think about science, we usually picture these cold, hard facts, right? Emotionless labs, pure logic. But what if I told you that the entire scientific process is actually powered by something deeply, well, human? Today, we're going to look at all this through the eyes of the amazing psychologist Carl Rogers, and his perspective might just totally change how you see discovery itself. All right, let's jump right in.
Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the image that probably pops into all of our heads. We gotta start with the classic scientist stereotype.
No, really, just for a second, what do you picture? I bet it's something like a white lab coat, right? Maybe some bubbling beakers, complex equations, and probably a person who is super logical, kind of detached, and deals only in pure, cold data.
Yeah, for most of us, it all just boils down to this one word, objective. The whole idea is that science is this purely logical, totally impersonal hunt for the truth. It's supposed to be completely separate from messy things like human feelings or, a gut instinct. But is that really the whole story? And this is where Carl Rogers comes in and throws this fantastic curveball. He argued that real science, the kind that changes the world, doesn't start with data at all. Nope. It starts somewhere much, much more personal. So get this, Rogers' whole philosophy is that the scientific journey is bookended by personal experience. It literally starts with a person just having an idea, a hunch, and it ends with other people hearing about it and trying to make sense of it. That super strict objective part, oh, it's absolutely crucial, but it's the bridge in the middle, not the beginning or the end of the road. And just take a look at the kind of person Rogers said a real scientist has to be. Intuitive, creative, in tune with their feelings. I mean, does that sound like the robot in a lab coat we were just picturing? Not at all. But Rogers' point was that without this openness, without a scientist trusting their own gut, brand new ideas would never even get off the ground. So the first spark of a great discovery isn't a number on a spreadsheet. It's a feeling, a hunch. It's an intuitive person just looking out at the world and sensing something. A connection, a pattern that's maybe so faint at first they can't even put it into words. And this quote, wow, it just says it all, doesn't it? It completely changes how we think about discovery. It's not a cold calculation. It's a nurturing act, like caring for a newborn. The scientist has to protect this tiny, fragile idea from all the doubt and criticism, just long enough for it to grow strong enough to be tested. But that subjective spark is only the beginning. Just because an idea starts as a feeling doesn't mean it gets to stay a feeling. Once that little idea is strong enough to stand on its own, it has to face the fire. It's got to enter the objective crucible. And this is where you see the two sides of the coin so clearly. On one hand, you have the open, flexible, creative mind that came up with the idea. But on the other, you have the rigid, controlled, totally objective method that's going to test it. See, Rogers wasn't throwing objectivity out the window, not at all. He was just saying it's a powerful tool, not the source of the creativity itself. So why is that tool so incredibly important? Well, because scientists are human. That same passion that helps them dream up an idea can also make them fall in love with it and want it to be true, maybe a little too much. Rigorous methods are the ultimate safeguard. They're how a scientist keeps their own biases in check and makes sure they aren't fooling themselves. Okay, so the idea has survived the brutal tests. The data's in, it looks good. We're done, right? Nope, not so fast. According to Rogers, the whole process is now about to loop right back into the human, subjective world. I mean, think about it. When a study gets published, it's not like data is just being downloaded into our brains. The scientist has to choose which words to use, how to frame the discovery. And then we, the audience, we read it through our own filters, our beliefs, our past experiences, even what's currently in fashion in the scientific community. The same exact fact can land very differently for different people. It's a human exchange through and through. So when you put all of these pieces together, you get this beautiful, much more complete picture of how science actually works. So let's take a look at the whole shebang, the full circle. And here it is. It's a cycle. 1, it all begins in the subjective world, inside a single person's mind. 2, it has to pass through the cold, impartial world of objective testing. And 3, it comes right back out into the subjective world of human communication, where we all get to talk about it and figure out what it means. Honestly, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this simple flow. Subjective to objective and back to subjective. Science isn't just one or the other.
It's a process, a journey that is, from beginning to end, a fundamentally human endeavor.
So I want to leave you with this thought. If Rogers is right, if science really does begin with just an intuitive, open-minded person noticing something, then discovery isn't some exclusive thing for geniuses in lab coats. It's a capacity that every single one of us has. So the real question is, what patterns are you noticing in your world?